Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk with you about warm-up for dynamic apnea. And for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Sergey. I am a freediving instructor trainer, and on this channel I'm sharing with all of you guys everything what I know about freediving. So sometimes it's freediving information, sometimes it is a freediving training tips, sometimes it is a freediving products review. So if you're a beginner or intermediate freediver, consider the idea to subscribe to my channel, because here you're gonna find a lot of useful information which most likely gonna help you to become better and safer freediver. Okay? So warm up for dynamic. If you haven't seen my previous videos about warm-up, you can find the links to these videos in the description. I already done a video about warm-up for static and warm-up for open water sessions, right? And today warm-up for dynamic, which I think a little bit different, right? So first of all, again, as in previous videos, as I was telling, that warm-up can be a little bit misleading term, because normally in any other physical activities we do warm-up to bring more blood in our muscles, and this is gonna help us to perform better, and also it's gonna help us to prevent any injury. In freediving it's a little bit different. So for example, if someone planning to do a maximum dynamic, then again, if it is a beginner or intermediate freediver, then he's gonna do or she's gonna do like 2-3 easy dynamics and then maximum, right? So let's find out what is the advantages and what is the disadvantages. So there are a couple of advantages. First advantage is gonna help this freediver to activate mammalian dive reflex, right? So when freedivers do his dynamic warm-up, then mammalian dive reflex activated, and then in his maximum attempt is gonna help him to be more comfortable, right? So the discomfort, the urge to breathe, gonna come a little bit later, right? So this is a benefit number one, activation of the mammalian dive reflex. Benefit number two is a mental part, right? We all know that freediving is all about mental state, and then beginner and intermediate freediver usually a little bit nervous, a little bit intimidated that okay, now we're gonna do long apnea, and they feel a little bit nervous, and then if they're gonna do a couple of easy swims, then it's gonna help them to relax more, and then on their maximum attempt it's going to be helpful for them to still be relaxed during this attempt, right? So this is, in my opinion, two biggest benefit for beginner and intermediate freedivers do warm up for dynamic. It is because the dive reflex is activated, and because it's going to be a little bit more easy, like mentally. So what is a disadvantage? So one of the disadvantage is that each exercise, in this case each apnea, dynamic apnea, gonna create some oxygen debt, right? And please don't correct me in the comments that okay, Sergey, as soon as I come up and I start breathing, my blood saturation almost immediately gonna go to 100. Yes, I'm not talking about only blood saturation. It's true that as soon as you come up after your let's say warm-up dynamic and you start breathing, the oxygen immediately comes into your lungs, immediately diffuse into your bloodstream, and then is going to be connected on a hemoglobin. This is why your saturation level going to come to its normal quite quickly, right? But the another problem is, let's say, with the lactate formation. So let's imagine that if I'm planning to do 160 meters dynamic, and then as a warm-up I do 100 meters. Obviously this 100-meter dive gonna create some lactic in my legs, right? Not only in my legs, just in my system, right? So when I finish my let's say 100-meter dive, then it will take me for a while this lactate is gonna come back to energy production cycle, right? And this is gonna require oxygen. Also your myoglobin is gonna be desaturated, and then also require a little bit time, and there is a few other processes in your body which requires longer time for recovery. So this is why if you do a warm-up and then it's not enough time for proper recover before your maximum attempt, then on the maximum attempts you have a disadvantage. We're going to talk a little bit later how you can remove this problem. And then again I write the mammalian dive reflex. So why I have mammalian dive reflex here and here? Well, actually there are a lot of speculation about that, and a lot of people believe that it's better do no warm-up dives, because they believe that if you do your maximum attempt only, then it's going to be higher stress for your body, and then the response is going to be higher and stronger, and then it means that the dive reflex is actually going to be stronger. It might be true, but it might be true for the high level athletes, because for the beginners it will take time to activate the dive reflex on a full speed, right? So this is why I'm thinking that if you're a beginner and intermediate freediver, so this is not the case, and the dive reflexes actually need to have time to be activated, right? Okay, so what to do? In the beginning, when you just start your freediving, if you're just a beginner freediver, I do recommend you to do warm-ups for dynamic. For example, if you're planning to do a 40 meters, usually what we're gonna do in our school, we're gonna do a 20 meters, then we maybe gonna do 20 plus third, because our pool is 20 meters, and then maybe we're gonna try to do 40 meters. So usually for the beginner freedivers, I recommend to do 2 or 3 warm-ups. Yes, it creates some oxygen debt. Yes, maybe your dive reflex is going to be not stronger. But for the beginner freediver, what is more important is the mental part, right? So, and more likely, if you're going to do a couple of easy swims, a couple of easy dynamic apneas, then it's going to help you to be like more relaxed mentally, right? So you're going to thinking, you're gonna not be that much stressed because of your maximum attempt. If you are more like intermediate freediver, then I recommend you to decrease amount of warm-ups. So if you maybe already try to attempt, let's say 70 meters, maybe it's not a good reason to do a 3 or 4 warm-ups, right? Because let's say if you are attempting 70 meters, 75 meters, and then you're doing, let's say 30, 40, 50, and it's without enough time to recovery, maybe you're going to accumulate a little bit oxygen debt, and then on your maximum attempt you're going to actually have a disadvantage. So this is why if you're intermediate freediver and you're planning to do somewhere between 170 and 100, maybe do 1 or 2 attempts maximum. And then if you're going to be a high level athlete, then you might be going to do no warm-up at all, or going to do a really easy one. So for example, on my last attempt to 170 meters, which I successfully done, thank you for your congratulations, then I still doing one easy swim, right? So for me it's still like a kind of like a mental part. So let's say before I do 170, I do easy 40-meter swim, just really nice and easy and relaxed, just like have this kind of mindset that everything is nice and relaxed, right? But then I have a longer rest, making sure that there is no oxygen debt, right? So I make sure that that my body return to pre-exercise level, right? Also, what is popular among, let's say, high-level athletes for dynamics, for maximum dynamic, is to do static as a warm-up instead of short dynamic, which is also makes sense, because when you do a relatively easy static, it's not going to produce that much lactate, it's not going to use that much myoglobin, oxygen from the myoglobin, and this is why you doesn't create that much oxygen depth. However, your mental state is going to be better for the maximum attempt, because you're going to be a little bit more relaxed. So overall, what is the conclusion? If you're a beginner, forget about any disadvantages, and then just do a 3 or maybe even 4 warm-ups before your maximum attempt, right? Because what is really important for you at this moment is how relaxed you are, how you feel about this maximum attempt, right? If you don't need it, if you feel really confident, then you just can skip it as well. If you're intermediate freediver, if you keep training and you actually coming close to your limits, maybe then decrease the amount of warm-up dives. And then when you are really high-level athletes, so first of all, thank you very much for watching me, but then maybe decrease it even further, maybe start doing no warm-up dynamic, or maybe static warm-up before dynamic, stuff like that, right? Okay guys, this is it what I was thinking to say today about warm-up for dynamic. I hope there was a little bit useful information for all of you. If it was, don't forget to click the like button, and see you next time.